about Jeff King's Elves deck is that despite the fact that Reed Duke won last week with Elves in Philadelphia, this is quite a different version. He's only got 2 Gaia's Cradles and no Dryad Arbors, so he's not really maximizing that interaction.
That's very peculiar. I can't imagine why you don't have a Dryad Arbor. I think Dryad Arbor is just the bee's knees in that deck. He's even running 3 Quirion Ranger, so it seems like that would be just an auto include.
And Glenn's doing the same thing I did earlier.
He's rereading the deck list. Yeah.
Squinting at the deck list, seeing if it's hidden somewhere else.
I figured he might have put it in creatures. That's fair.
I did the exact same thing. I looked in the creature column.
2 Gaia's Cradle is also very, very non-standard. It could be a cost issue. The card is obviously very expensive, but beyond that, I think that 4 is just optimal, especially with the new Legend rule no longer punishing you for drawing multiple copies, unless they're your only land, literally only land.
So Jeff King has started off here with an aggressive start. 2
sort of.
Nettle Sentinels and a Llanowar Elves.
But they have fallen prey to the brick wall that is Tarmogoyf. Chi-Hoi Yim up a game. Now, both of these players are undefeated, unlike our last match. Our last match, each player had a single loss, which meant it was an elimination match for top 8. This match, these guys actually have a match to give, and they can still top 8, so slightly less pressure, but obviously everyone's hoping to win this game, this match, and that way they can likely double draw into top 8.
Chi-Hoi Yim with a Tarmogoyf 4/5. Looks like land, creature, sorcery, instant, kind of the standard 4 of.
Yep.
There's a Thoughtseize, Brainstorm, and I believe a Heritage Druid over in Jeff King's graveyard.
One of the best parts about Shardless Bug as a Tarmogoyf deck is that it actually plays a fair number of artifacts, which gives it the ability to grow Goyf up to 5/6. We see one of those artifacts right now, Shardless Agent,
which cascades into a Deathrite Shaman.
Nothing too exciting going on here for Chi-Hoi. Obviously, he has, a board, but Jeff is playing the combo deck. He can actually get pretty degenerate pretty fast, and if Chi-Hoi doesn't have a way to slow him down, then it's going to be in trouble.
Nothing too explosive from the Elves player. It looks like Chi-Hoi used his Thoughtseize on the Heritage Druid, so cutting off the mana engine with those Nettle Sentinels.
Mm-hmm. Jeff King does have a lot of redundancy, however. He can obviously draw another Heritage Druid, he can Green Sun Zenith for 1, or he can actually just play a 4th land and cast Natural Order for a Crater Hoof Behemoth and attack for a lot of damage. That would be 13 plus 8, that would be 21 and lethal, clearly. I'm sorry, I miscounted that, I believe. 18.
Well, he'd have to sacrifice one of his green creatures.
Yeah, he'd have to sacrifice the Llanowar Elves, so he would still have 4 power from the Nettle Sentinel, 5 power from the Crater Hoof, and then 9 power from the Pump.
So Jeff King attacked with a single Nettle Sentinel. Chi-Hoi Yim trades it off with a Shardless Agent, and as you said, it's an artifact, so Tarmogoyf grows to a 5/6.
I'm not sure why we would attack with a single one. I don't know what gain there could be, as opposed to attacking with both, especially when we have a green
tap
spell.
Anyway. Well, maybe he did attack with both, and he just untapped it very quickly.
Maybe that's what happened. We'll have to get clear on whether Chi-Hoi's life total is still 11 or if he actually dropped down to 9.
Chi-Hoi attacks with a Tarmogoyf. Jeff takes it. He can absorb that hit. And another one. But pretty soon, the Deathrite Shaman gonna get scary for the Elves deck. So he's got to find something soon.
Yeah, his own Deathrite Shaman is obviously significantly worse than Chi-Hoi's right now, as it can't access the black ability. And Chi-Hoi, because he landed his first, has quote unquote initiative with the ability to activate Deathrite Shaman.
And Jeff is really in a position where he has to use a Deathrite Shaman almost.
Yeah, he'll probably be, if he has a mana open, activating it in Chi-Hoi's end step in order to get a clean activation on his own turn. But it's not really an efficient use of his sources. Ooh, I think I see a Natural Order actually in his hand. So it looked like he was short the mana last turn. He's going to try and get a mana. And Chi-Hoi's not stopping him, it looks like.
Why would you not? If you're Chi-Hoi, I guess you could always have a counter spell.
Yeah, if Chi-Hoi has a Force of Will, then it's totally fine here to not stop him. He can even hard cast Force of Will.
With his own Deathrite Shaman mana.
So that appears to be exactly what's happening right now. The natural order sacrificed Nettle Sentinel, interestingly enough. That kind of implies to me that Jeff King was not going for Crater Hoof Behemoth. He was probably going to go looking for Progenitus. Maybe Regal Force, but probably Progenitus. Progenitus, sometimes not what you really want to get against Bug, as occasionally they're actually playing Perish. Even though it kills a lot of their creatures, it kills all of yours, so it's not that bad.
So there you go, Jeff King cast Natural Order, sacrificed the Nettle Sentinel as an additional cost, and Chi Ho Yim did pay 5 mana to Force of Will the Natural Order. I'm always curious in these Deathrite mirror battles. We saw Jeff start to tap all of his mana. He tapped his 2 forests and then went to activate the Deathrite Shaman. And it seems better to activate the Deathrite Shaman first, kind of as a mask, so your opponent isn't quite sure what you want to use the mana for.
Agree. Yeah, Chi-Hoi was probably doing, somersaults inside his own head once he knew that Natural Order was 100% the spell Jeff was going to cast. He would have actually forced Chi-Hoi into a decision point by starting with the Deathrite Shaman, where Chi-Hoi wouldn't have had all the information necessary to decide, I don't really want to stop you here.
Okay, so Chi Ho Yim with the Shardless Bug deck. In control of this match, he's going to cast Abrupt Decay on the Deathrite Shaman. Attack.
And Jeff is a swing away from lethal. He will have to block Tarmogoyf next turn or find some other way to deal with it. Or he'll be ended by an activation of Deathrite Shaman and an attack from the Tarmogoyf. Obviously, he has a Llanowar Elf, but...
And these Elves decks, are they still all just using Llanowar Elves? No Elvish Mystics sneaking in yet?
No one's going with Elvish Mystic. I get the feeling most of these guys are, they tend towards the old school
Traditionalists?
Elves. Yeah, traditionalists. I've even seen a few people who pack, like one Llanowar, one Findhorn, so I highly doubt those guys are audibly over to Elvish Mystic anytime soon. Although theoretically, he's better trained. He has a class. He's a Mystic.
Well, let's say you want to play 5 of them, right? Wouldn't it be better to go like 2-2-1?
Yeah, it would definitely be better, theoretically. I mean,
just in case of stray Maelstrom Pulses and
meddling
stuff like
mages. Wirewood Symbiote for Jeff King is actually one of his better cards here. It lets him block Tarmogoyf without losing a creature.
Along with the Elvish Visionary, which is going to draw a card every time he recasts it.
Oh, jeez. Chi-Hoi has the blowout. Golgari Charm for neg 1. That's exactly going to kill with the Tarmogoyf.
So Golgari Charm, the sideboard card brought in to wipe out the Elves, and that's what it does. Chi Ho Yim takes it. He's going to move to 7-0, undefeated, most likely in a good position to double draw into the top 8.
Very likely.
So we will probably be seeing him later on tonight.